Howdy, partners. Welcome to the stream. How's everybody holding up? Hello, Yesh. What's up? What's up? Welcome back, everybody, to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Y'all ready to carry on from where we left off last time? I once again... what's going on? More privacy policies from Capcom? Code Japan? Great. Good timing for that. As I was saying, as the game is going into a browser tab, because I think the trilogy had an update today or something. And, do you want me to do something, game, or what? Because they are not going to let me into the game, unless I guess I tick something and agree on their website, maybe? Oh boy, what? Fantastic start. But yes, as I was saying... Yep, update notes! I'm gonna show this to everyone and our new updated game. What we now enjoy with the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the gallery has been added. Listen to BGM and view art and animations from the game. The episode selection feature has been added. Now you can start any episode from the point of your choice. Autoplay and story mode features have been added. Autoplay lets you automatically advance conversations, while story mode allows you to automatically solve cases. Wow. Easy mode? And advance through the story, offering an accessible way to enjoy the games. Language support for Brazilian, Portuguese, and Latin American Spanish have been added, including newly localized text and voice lines. Various bugs fixes have been implemented. Wow. Yay, new gallery tab. Woohoo! Congrats, everyone. As I was saying, while I was looking through stuff last time, when we got stuck, I've noticed that the case is longer than the previous ones. I went back to that to double check, without obviously reading the walkthrough, and apparently the case that we currently are on is a 10-parter. So we went from 2-parter, our very first case, to consistently 4-parters, and now it's double that, and then some. So I think we'll be here for a while. We will be starting 5th part today. Hopefully we will get over the threshold of, like, halfway through the game, because who knows, once again, how long any of this is going to take. But yes, strap right in. We are going to a court hearing straight out of the gate, I believe, is where we stopped last. Oh, that's new. And it now doesn't remember where we stopped? What was the date? Oh god, this is so sensitive. When did we play last? The 19th? Was this our last? Episode 5? Day 3? I think we just hopped into day 3, didn't we? Yeah. Load? Please? Thank you. I hope that's the one. Book is slowly ending, so it's good. Wonderful. And yes, as a matter of fact, it is slowly ending. Also, my throat is once again inexplicably sore, so hopefully they're not going to make us do any crazy voices, and I will be stopping to chug tea at more often intervals. So, thank you for your patience. Without further ado, once again, thank you Capcom for the updates and all that. But let's jump in. February 24th, 9:41 AM, District Court Defendant Lobby number 2.
So, what do you think, Mr. Wright?
I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. Yes, there we go. Having our little recap, courtesy of the game. And the different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes.
Lana!
Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though.
So, how'd it go?
It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind the simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma.
But Lana, don't tell me you...
Much to my regret, I am as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Sky. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. Hope all of this is starting to get back to you, because, yeah, I didn't. We kind of skipped the recap. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. Fingerprints. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you?
In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall.
We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. And that we shall. February 24th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 9. Here we go. Who's our first victim? Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared.
Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Well, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself.
Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself.
And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Maybe a little bit? Do you have a prediction, Edgeworth? Yes, how many minutes, down to a second, it's going to take us to solve this today? Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. Is it Mickens? The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Yep. Will the witness please state his name and occupation?
Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Mickens, sir. My occupation is, would be murderer, sir.
Wow. How's the salary? So you're telling us you're a professional killer?
Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir.
Please put the megaphone away.
Please.
Yeah, Judge was saying something while we were recovering.
Sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend.
Please, Mr. Edgeworth. Sir, help me, sir. Officer Mickens.
Yes, sir.
Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order.
Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I'm a part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm.
Okay, crime report, sir. Here we go. Can somebody confiscate the megaphone though, please? I can't listen to this for half hour and up.
Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
Rip. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you.
Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Mickens family motto, sir.
I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness.
Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. True. And that's when we start to hold. Everybody ready?
Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day.
Mr. Mickens, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Oh my god, he's HR. Yikes, now there's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which means many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir.
As you should. The Blue Badger?
Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by Chief of Detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir.
I see. Sounds like a very, important mission.
After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
Really? Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room.
Tell us, what did you see when you got there? I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room.
In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct?
Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck.
Can we have a look at it, please? We need a list of names for this there paper over there. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? Yep. Which one? Is it the lowest one?
There it is! I found it! This is the one right here.
Could you please read us the number?
Yes, sir. It's 4989596. That's my number, sir.
I see. Huh? But the number 4989596... Yep. Is shown as being used twice? Huh, I didn't notice that.
Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down.
I see. So it was during that second time when...
Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen.
Yep. Added more names.
I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked.
Man, I hope the microphone is not picking with all this Mickens action. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was with a knife, sir. A knife!
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then?
Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. Oof.
That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you just keep your cool... Maybe if you just keep your cool, your hand won't be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life. Then I did it.
What exactly do you mean when you said you did it?
I know I don't look like the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir.
Yeah? What about samurai films? I need to hear your opinion on that.
The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him.
You took his knife.
I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man.
I see. He must have been desperate.
The next thing I knew, his white collar was drenched in a sea of blood. And then the next thing I knew...
Yes?
He punched me right in my face, sir.
Hey, Kameda, welcome to the stream. How are you holding up? Good to see you.
After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious.
Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. So, 15 minutes later?
It hit me right on the head too. I woke up crying tears of pain.
That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered. That is...
When I came around though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
Your mission?
Yes, sir. The Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand.
Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear.
Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? Good question. He's got a point. Yes, Officer Mickens?
With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
The chief delivered it? What is that? Videotape?
Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
Objection!
What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told to, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at.
Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Sure is. Well done, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Oh, please stop using that word, murder, sir. It scares me.
A video of a real murder? Just what are we getting ourselves into? Roll the tape. The Blue Badger did it! 7:14. Maybe we should question the Badger. Surely he knows the answers to all our problems. We've got 3D footage. There's a glove dropping from the SL9 case. There's Officer Mickens in his 3D glory. Getting stabbed. The face of the murderee is conveniently covered. So maybe it was somebody else? And making this out. 17:15. But where is the murderee? Did he get away? He's clearly not dead. At least the camera didn't pan low enough to see the body. Also, there weren't any tape around a body shape thing. You know, the one that was at the garage. The tension. It's palpable. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood?
Sir, that is the police and the pride and joy of entire criminal affairs department, sir. It's the Blood Badger, sir.
Again, bring him in for questioning. Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Yep, video from the security camera placed in the evidence room. Yes, well, anyway, this tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room, and some sort of activity did take place.
Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Mickens? Yes, sir. As you wish, sir.
Okay. Mystery man.
His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there is no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which requires Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
Well, we know that much. What's this about a fingerprint?
Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Okay. Here we go.
His face can't be clearly seen in the video.
I've noticed. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife?
Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not seen this man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter?
The latter? But you were standing right in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you?
Oh yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at the face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking with them, you see.
Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer.
Still, I'm sure it was him. I'd bet my match on it. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir.
But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face.
Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it.
Since his face can be identified in the video, only you can verify that.
Well, why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or...
Mickings! Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify.
Yes, sir!
You claimed the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him.
I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do.
About these lockers, is there no other way to open them?
No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past.
How are your hands still intact?
They only respond to fingerprints, sir. Registered fingerprints.
I wonder what kind of methods he's tried. If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to.
Exactly my point, sir. And this too. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's, sir.
How do you know that information?
I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir.
People in the know.
The workers in the department cafeteria, sir, they keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir.
A detail?
For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source.
So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint.
So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face.
Sir! If I may say something, sir.
Please do. After all, you are the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough for this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie.
That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again.
Is there a problem with the security video? Let's check. We sure have a lot of stuff in here. I don't remember half of it. Well, we have the ID that has now been almost complete. How did he enter the evidence room? Right, he did. 5:14 p.m. Right there. We got the fingerprint thing. We got the thing that is allegedly unrelated to this whole thing that Edward had to transfer on that day. Half-written document dated 2/21 can only be submitted to Chief of Police, which we already have. This is Goodman on the 2nd 21st once again. The floor plans with blood all over the place. The glove from the SL9 thing, the one we've seen on the tape dropping out of the locker. Extremely thin rubber glove. Only the assigned detective's prints can unlock it. Indicator lamp lights up when it's open. I kinda want to look at the tape one more time, maybe? Jar pieced back together from fragments found in the crime scene. A piece is missing. Found on a bloody handprint left in the evidence room. The print has been wiped. This one is from Marshall's, I think. Any from the security camera placed in the evidence room. Let's look again. Shall we not? So it's at 17:14. Ads? Well, you're not missing much. We're just looking at the tape again. Drop at the glove. Here come the boy. I don't think it looks like Goodman is wearing gloves or anything. I'm not sure. Because there was a gloved blood print on one of the lockers. How did he leave the crime scene? He didn't show up in front of the camera. He just kind of disappeared. Oh, he allegedly died. That's how, obviously. But who was handprinting all over the place? Was it Mickens? And Mickens is gone? again, or it's rolling all over again. Okay, I wanna look at the time a bit more now. 17:14. He's already in the room. Back. Something is not... Okay, it does lit up. What could it possibly be? Only the assigned detective Prince can unlock it. Indicator lamp lights up when it's open. We saw a suspicious man inside. How come they both entered it at the same minute? I don't know. So says the list. They came at the same minute. He came right after him. But weren't, like, when we were having a flashback, weren't they confronting each other outside? Let's... There's a problem, allegedly. Maybe Phoenix is going to help us. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. I feel like I gotta save. Yes. Just to be safe. Did it save? It saved. Okay, here we go. Strange. This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. Gasp! What? This video contains such a contradiction? Objection! Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out. Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I'm still not sure, by the way. I have to point out a problem in the video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, and pause the video. Well, goody. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. Now cover your eyes. How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man then did it, or whatever? J to rewind, backspace to pause. The light is on. So the locker has been already unlocked? What the heck? Did you notice that? Enter to fast forward, E to present, F to autoplay? Huh? Probably nepotism. Could very well be. Do we point out the light? Huh? Blood on the shoulder. I feel like it might be the light? 'Cause why the heck would it be on if it's not open? See? You're getting alived, Mickens. Isn't this much better if we played the reverse? Okay. Here we go. It's here. Here. Present. Hopefully. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Mickens?
Sir, do you mean me, sir?
As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. We got it right? First try? When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released. I'm pretty sure it was a detective that was telling us this, not Phoenix, but okay, game.
According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir.
If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. Zoom in enhance. Please, game, do it for us. Right now. Right there. Uh-huh. Yep. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker... Let's rewind a little earlier. Can we fast rewind? If possible. Save us a bit of time. Ancient technology can't handle that, I guess. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already lit! Hey! Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Order! Order! What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. Objection! But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know. It must have been broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor. Yes, why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor. Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator?
Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the system sensor?
Something jam the sensor? Say. There's something else that seems out of place in the video.
Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in the footage.
Very well, let's inspect the video once more. Let's save the game once more as well. Just to save us some time in case we fuck up. Here goes. The locker wasn't locked, Mr. Wright. Please point out the cause of this. The cause? I'm not sure, actually, as a matter of fact. Because of the glove? The glove was in the way, so it didn't close properly, maybe? Do you think? More? More? Can I pause? BS? BS to pause? It sure is a BS. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Did we get it right again? I hope. Not even gonna play the Badger tune this time? Just awkward silence? Okay. Here's the glove. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker.
But sir, It's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll great distances when I...
We can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with.
What do you mean?
The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Inserted?
Roll the tape again.
Why not?
Da 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 dum 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 da da dum. See, I'll do the badger job. Word. This white thing was inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor.
Oh, understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing.
But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator, yes. And it's a rubber glove, if you remember correctly.
Yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene.
There just might have been something that fits the description.
But, sir, by insulator, you don't mean...
I think I finally got this figured out.
Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door? It was this extremely thin rubber glove, obviously.
I found this near the locker, a thin rubber glove.
But we can't be sure that this was in the victim's locker. Look at the case tag.
It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp, attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Mickens?
Sir, it would appear so, sir.
Order! 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 So, are we to believe, then, that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in this video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecutor will offer one more testimony to prove this.
What?
Officer Mickens, please testify about this.
Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what we're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
Is this a joke?
Very well, begin your testimony. Here we go again. Mystery Man Part 2.
There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card.
Uh-huh. And then we found the card in the parking lot.
An ID card record, I see.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. Uh-huh. The ID used at 5:14 is that one of the victim.
Just before the crime, hmm? Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room?
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff.
Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end.
Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon.
Right, I see. Now, let us move on to the cross-examination.
And me having some tea. Hold up. Everybody who needs to do this, hydrate yourself, posture check, food check, mess check, all of that stuff. You know the list by heart by now, so just, you know, get to doing it. I'm gonna add some hot tea to the mixture as well, because mine is going a bit cold. Just like Mittens, he's special. Where's Mittens? Are more people and potentially cats joining this case, Yash? Okay, let's see now. What's happening in here?
There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir.
So, unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you?
Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give the V for victory sign, sir. You have two hands. Couldn't he just use his right hand for that?
Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what you might say until the very last second.
To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card.
Is that card hanging from your neck one of those ID cards?
Yes, sir. This card right next to my cuffs, sir. I keep it here, so I won't ever forget it.
But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out and open like that?
Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said two out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time, it's my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID cards gets...
Maybe I should just leave this one. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this. Hey, do you remember when Gumshoe said that he lost his like 3 times? Shame we don't have a record of that.
Please proceed with your testimony.
When an ID card is used, there's a record of it.
Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to.
Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman.
What's the matter?
According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here.
So it is, Your Honor. Not that prosecutor again. Hey, maybe he's behind all this. Being a prosecutor, he could...
Mommy, is that man in blue a murderer? Shh, don't stare at him.
You've got the wrong color, kid.
It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today.
I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination.
Poor Mr. Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him. At the time of the crime, the detective has used his card.
Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you.
Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir.
Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife.
Maybe he just panicked.
Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out.
Mr. Wright, what do you think?
I'm confused.
What?
The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this.
You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show him what we've got.
What about Marshall? Doesn't he stay there and look who's going? Well, didn't he say that he left early? To go ride on Zippy, his trusty steed? Because he fucking hates his job? Okay. There's one other thing that proves that Detective Goodman... In the evidence room, we must use their ID card. ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective will use his card. Now what the heck do you want me to do with this? Well, we found it at the fucking crime scene, 30 minutes away. Is that what we showed them? I'm not sure what else it could possibly be. Not the knife, I would assume. I'm going to guess it's the ID card. You just flash it and say, hey. Why the fuck did I find this in the wallet? At the other crime scene? Should we save again? See? Now knowing how I can save anytime, anywhere, I'm being paranoid. But ultimately it's going to save our life. There's a record of it. To enter the evidence room, you must use your ID card. Where do we present it? Here, maybe? Should we try here? This? Here goes nothing. Wait one moment, Officer Mickens. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
That makes sense.
When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. I do? Oh, this thing. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Ah, yes, the number wasn't finished. It was like 5, scribble, scribble, scribble.
A lost item report. It's only half completed.
But it shows that Detective Goodman has lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess, you believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card.
Order! Order! So now, what does this all mean?
It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Mickens encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card.
Order! 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 Does the prosecution have a response?
I have only one thing to say to this defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Mickens encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright?
Yes. What's he up to?
That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder.
Well, it pans away when the murder happens, so...
that is... well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Well, well, it seems you finally realized. exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So, the real crime could only take place at the location, the underground parking lot. At the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ah!
Well, at least Mickens is innocent. We'll take that one, right?
I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning.
The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Mickens encountered? And where did the person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Just so, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana...
What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Well, object, obviously, but first... we're going to, put our parachutes on, so to speak. Object.
Objection!
One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecutor's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I still want to question the other witness, the Blue Badger.
He knows all. Surely he has seen the face, where others didn't?
However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot.
The fingerprints.
Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honor.
If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. Well, this just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand.
Mr. Wright, do you mean...
Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness.
Oh, whom do you have in mind?
Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecutor requests to hear the person's name before deciding whether or not to comply.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify, what is his or her name?
Mickens, again. Is the patrolman investigating the incident at the prosecutor's office. Thinks he's a cowboy. What are the other descriptions? I want to read them all now. District Chief Police. Though he might not seen it, his top dog at the PD. Patrolman with General Affairs. Suspected of killing Goodman in the evidence room. The victim and a good man. Detective in Criminal Affairs who handled the SL9's case. Detective at the local precinct. In charge of the initial investigation. The defendant and chief prosecutor from the district. Wounded on her right hand. high school junior and self-styled scientific investigator, client sister of Lana Sky. Mysterious lunch lady, witness to the murder, known as the Coffin Queen. Well, obviously. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? Can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is I don't know, man. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
Very well, Your Honor.
Court is now in recess. Stop throwing this legal jargon at me that I don't know how to pronounce. I'm embarrassing myself.
February 24, 11:32 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you've figured everything out.
I haven't figured anything out.
Lana? You're the one who knows everything?
Emma?
You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you.
I don't recall ever asking for his protection.
How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me?
I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later.
Oh, it's sad. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
Sorry, Detective.
You better be, pal. Hey! I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky!
That's okay, so have you brought what I asked?
You mean this, right?
My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request.
My name? Never in a billion years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy.
The SL9 incident.
By Lana, that's...
I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them.
I can't believe you, the Chief Prosecutor, were a witness in that case. You, the Chief Prosecutor, were a witness in that case. There you
go. Miss Sky was a witness? Well, for the Joe Drake killings, solved 2 years ago.
Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murderers. No, what? Now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me?
Emma? But why? Why's your name in here?
What? My name's in here? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that...
That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Drake killings.
The Joe Drake... No, Lana! That's over with! No!
Emma, wait! She ran away.
You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here.
Jake Marshall, Angel Star, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth, not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to these killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I'd better take a good look at this file. To be continued. Yay! So, by this point, we are halfway through the case. Congratulations, everybody! Can we make it further in, I wonder? And how far? So far, so good, pace-wise. She's the killer? Gasp. Well, I guess we'll have to dig through the files and figure it out. No, don't we? February 24th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Again, I apologize, I take another drink. We're back. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Howdy. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man. Same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elders cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it.
Oh, I know, you're a patrolman.
No drinking in the court, please. Do as I say, not as I do. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind. I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before.
It's howling. I mean, Edgeworth.
Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner.
What do you mean?
A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up.
Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English, but not too old, please.
Day of the crime. Let's hear it. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. Oh, excuse me, hit the trail! But what was your bloody handprint on the locker?
I can't say I particularly care for your attitude.
I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines, or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor?
This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours.
He's ours! Yay! Before that, though, I do wanna finger through that thing that was given to us? Files for the Joe Drake killings? Check.
4 pages, oh no! That's a lot of reading!
Incident number SL9. Perpetrator, Joe Drake. Crime, serial murder. Sentence, death. Victims, Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, Neil Marshall. Head prosecutor, Miles Edgeworth. Witness, Lana Skye, Emma Skye. Investigation Task Force. Executive Investigators, Damon Gant, Lana Skye. Head Investigator, Bruce Goodman. Investigators, Jake Marshall, Angel Star. So are they related? The Marshall twins? And or, I don't know, father-son Edgeworth situation? Oh. Okay, let's hear it. Let's hold it. My job was to keep a weary eye on that Bonar card. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings. You interred them? Ideas of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So, in actuality, you didn't physically enter the evidence room. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that it ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. No desperados I know join the police force. Well, define desperado.
So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime...
Just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day.
There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that?
Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. Really now? Well, let's hear the rest of it. How does this guy avoid being fired? Besides, a room protected by 2 security cameras anyway. Systems. Whatever. You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course, back in the day my locker was a goldmine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism? Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite, incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too.
At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place?
If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti and watching westerns, you know, the usual. Not even Angel's steak lunch can beat the parlor's Vongole sepia pasta.
Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles?
I don't see any problem with that. Not all desperados eat tacos, partner.
That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson.
That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says. Did you not want to raise this year? This guy is way beyond giving a fuck about his job, as far as I'm aware. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall. That's right, partner. Or, as you'd call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me for this crime, then you'd better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset.
One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything.
Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently, your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I'd best keep my cool. Before I use it though, I'd better up my ante. Well, it's the next one, isn't it? He ain't that ain't his style, and then he says he's not there. Do I present it here? By present it, I mean this. Bloody fingerprint left in the evidence room. The print has been wiped. And it's Marshall's fingerprints. Yeehaw. Can't do anything about it. It's just there. He shoots first, just like Han Solo. Yes. Another one of them Wild West gunslingers, huh? We have to know whose number 7777 is? Well, maybe eventually. Maybe it's his, actually. Seeing how his bloody fingerprints are all over the place. I don't know, should we save? Should we just try it? Here now? Damn. This game got me paranoid. Save, please. Because I'm not sure, it's either here or the last one. Where we should present. Meeting runs on the day of the crime, right? Here, partner. Told you that I ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. Not desperate in his rules. Mr. Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. And I feel like we gotta present it here-ish, somewhere-ish. I can't though. Not in the in-between talk. There's a rubber glove. Yada yada. It's either here or the last one where he's like, if you're out of ammo, whatever. So I'm not entirely sure where to. Let's try here. If it's a shot and a miss, we know where to try again. Objection! It's not here, is it? Your Honor! That statement contradicts the evidence! It doesn't! Ba-blam! Whoops, that didn't go so well. Okay, let's try the last one then. Can I... No, I can't. I gotta scroll through all of it. Can I just kind of click? There we go. Well, in that case, let's try this. Here. Objection! That's the correct one. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a large trail behind at the crime scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Huh. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of the crypt. I pay my respect. That is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there.
Objection!
But are they always bloody? I only wish it were, officer. I only wish it were, officer, but you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Oh, nice heels.
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene?
The blood was wiped away, however, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? It seems to me, there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall. About the blood-stained fingerprints.
Very well. You may begin your testimony about your fingerprints, found at the scene of the crime.
Bloodstained fingerprints. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprints are completely unrelated. Should we show him the dusty thing? Or whatever? Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See? It had nothing to do with it.
The witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt.
Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
This guy's hiding something, I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Hold my fine white powder, partner. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be. That's because you, how do you put it, pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That, and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine.
What? What do you mean?
I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there and now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time, without even knowing it. Found on a bloody handprint on Marshall's own locker. The print has been wiped. Yes, we already had this, though. One of them just happened to be at the same place at the bloodstained handprint. So then, what about the bloody handprint? It wasn't mine. It's no mystery.
Please explain.
The locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened. Okay, just gonna trail off. The murderer touched the locker when my fingerprint, where my fingerprint was by chance. Is this where we're going to push the thingy? The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. You got one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward for me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? Yeah? Please? Elaborate? The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or here? Unrelated. They're different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast while the other one's on type of murder.
She's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different.
I don't see what homonyms? I know this word, but I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. Have to do with this. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? Or here, maybe? How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, though thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried to do that too.
So that would mean the murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint.
As the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one realistic reality, and that's this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. Keep taunting me, pal.
This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall.
Now, if they just were like,
"No, Mr. Wright, did you have any problem with this?"
and then you have an option to object and present an evidence without having to pick any one of these, that would be fantastic. That would be swell. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? What do you mean by that? You mean to tie me to this crime? Isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have.
Objection!
But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots.
Blind spots?
Places he can't see. Judge, please, pay attention for once. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape.
Objection!
He's not wrong, you know. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright.
Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do now.
I'm not sure I can, though. Please? I mean, if we take another look and maybe then we notice something... Show... there isn't any evidence in the video. I don't think. Was there? No evidence? I might be walking right into Officer Marshall's trap. I'd better try and find out a little more information. It seems we should be moving back to the testimony.
Very well. Officer Marshall, can you please give your testimony again?
Officer Marshall, STFU, I'm going to look at the tape again. Just to be 100% sure. Check. More ads? And back? Okay, good. We're just checking the thing again. To make absolutely sure... Marshall is nowhere to be seen. Or any suggestion of Marshall. That being said, we don't really see any blood either, but I guess Badger is in the way of where the other fingerprint is at, right? But then we also don't see anyone leaving the crime scene. Everything seems clean. Well, now it's either we're like, there's evidence in the footage, or we shake some powder in his face and say, hey, we know it's you, compadre. We have your fingerprints. For real, for real. But again, I'm not sure which statement to pin it on, because several of them are kind of sort of pinnable. There's a cloth. Was it there from the beginning? No, it wasn't. Did you notice? Did you see? Okay, I got you, bitch. I wonder if we gotta put that one up front first. Press. But still it doesn't press anything anyway? Progress? Well, I don't know. All we gotta do is try. Objection! Because we can't push the evidence thing. Now. Camera panning back and forth. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they would leave the room without being caught on tape. Objection! They'll have time for speculation, yada yada yada. Show evidence! Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making this mistake.
Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall.
Fast forward, please. Faster, 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 faster! And then BS to pause. Then they fight. And then it's still not there. Fast forward some more. And then... Aha! Thought I wouldn't notice, huh? Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. Days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? No. 9. The minimum. Very well. You clearly been seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. I wasn't counting, but good job, Phoenix. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker, with the white cloth sticking out, that was the witness's, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Once again, could maybe do it a bit faster. The blue cartoon locks his locker view anyway. No, it blocks Gumshoe's locker.
Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall?
When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away.
Order. Order! It would seem that's the...
Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Again, we're forgetting some stuff of how these work? Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? Tear him apart. Tear him apart, Phoenix. This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know! I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the one person who can open this particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker. Now prove it. Well, only the assigned detective prince can unlock the indicator lamp lights up when it's open? Ah! Fingerprint sensor. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about... Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Eh? Gonna chew on some jerky, or...? I only got 1 word for you, partner. No!
Order! 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 Witness, explain yourself!
If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you, this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime.
Olay! Please, answer the question!
What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure out the rest from here.
We can?
Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Mickens didn't see Officer Marshall.
If that's so, then where was the witness?
It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right, the only possible conclusion.
Will we have to point at the map? Well then, let's hear it.
Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? By his locker, one would assume. Officer Marshall was standing right there.
So Officer Mickens didn't notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Mickens' warp theory.
Your chamber's empty, partner. Better reload, fuck you. Now they're ganging up on me.
Perhaps you should think a little more about where Officer Marshall was.
Well, during the murder, he wasn't in the room. Seconds after murder, he appeared and disappeared while the camera was panned. Officer Mickens should have seen him in the evidence room. That means the only place he could have been would be... Hold up. I'm pressing wrong buttons. I'm terrible. I'm awful. I'm saving the game. Because they are starting to gang up on me. In the locker? Now we're getting somewhere.
Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime?
Outside of the room? Behind the locker? I don't fucking know. Officer Marshall was standing right here.
So Officer Mickens didn't notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Mickens'
Dude, what the fuck? Now they're ganging up on me. Officer Mickens should have seen him in the evidence room. So he was standing in front of them? But he didn't see him though. What? I'm reloading. So but that's some bullshit.
Hold on, let's hear it.
Because he wasn't on the tape. He was never captured on it. The camera, I would assume, is here somewhere. So it should have caught him running past somehow. Here? Is it the killer?
Was he the killer?
Officer Marshall was standing right here.
Nope. It's almost as credible as Mickens' warp theory.
Hey. I had to shoot my shot. Okay, enough fucking around. In the left corner, a lower corner? I'm not sure they're going to like that. So you're saying here. And again, they want us to prove that Mickens seen him? What? Even lower? I can't go any lower. Because I go beyond the map. I mean, we can try. But I don't think that's it.
So Officer Mickens didn't notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Mickens's. See?
Not it. Reload! If the game is going to play dirty, then I'm going to play dirty too. Can I go back and reload? I don't have much health left. Here. He wasn't. My chamber is almost empty. Not gonna lie. Where could he be standing? He's not here. He's not here. It's not here. It's not by the locker. In the locker. No. Guilty!
That's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong the trial. The defense has failed to give the court sufficient reason to doubt the prosecutor's claim. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, guilty. The accused will surrender to the court immediately, to be held pending trial at the higher court within a month from today's date. This is all. The court is adjourned.
Bye! But seriously, what the heck? It shouldn't be in the... You know, the cone of vision of the camera. So it only makes sense. Am I not supposed to be doing this at all? Am I should I be presenting evidence somewhere else? I wish they would like put the camera icon somewhere. Should I see what guide says? Soon. Let's poke around some more. Between the lockers. Sir Marshall was standing right there. Girlfriend. Nope. But you didn't see him, though. Am I stupid? I mean, don't answer that. I know I am, but...
Was he the camera?
He doesn't trust them newfangled things, so he is the camera himself, watching over, so to speak. Okay, yeah, check the guide, because this makes 0 sense. He was not in the room.
Guilty, again!
Should I say what God said? The V is him? But I guess we selected K last time?
But who killed whom?
I think Mickens' self-esteem is the real victim here.
See, I knew it was one of the tag thingies.
Okay, fine. Game.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear this bag of baloney.
Officer Marshall was standing right here.
There? But that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was.
Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video's Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Mickens witnessed the detective in the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Mickens did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on this ID card.
Oh, I get it.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Mickens would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall?
You've got quite an imagination, partner.
We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? You're still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim.
I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition.
I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim?
Well, am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert hard heat. Both. Ugh, this can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics. For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place?
What do you mean?
There is no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later, as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker.
According to defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot.
Very well, let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open the lock.
Why indeed? Was it his coat, maybe? He was trying to get rid of the bloody bit or something rather than other so he doesn't get caught. And the bloody police department working all bloodied up. The thing is, though, we don't see him after the stabbing. There, he's got blood. And then he's gone. And then the cloth appears. Right? What am I missing? Stab, stab. I'm actually not entirely sure. By not entirely sure, for once I am stumped. Pause. Rewind. Here's the man of the hour. Well, now I can see that he is wearing gloves, as a matter of fact. Click, 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 click. Play. We lose the glove. Password. Here comes the Mickens. Here comes a brutal fight. And then he just kind of disappears. Nothing has changed about Mickens, I don't think. He knows the answer because he looked at the guide, I assume, while looking up the other thing. Fast forward. Well, at least we have the soothing badger music to help us think. I'm looking at everything in this evidence room. Everything. Paint, normal. Stabbing, normal. Rewind a little bit. Is it something we gotta find here somewhere as they fight? Because after that we don't see anything anymore of them, other than Mickens being sound asleep. You were on a good clue anyway? So is it about his coat? Was I correct to assume? That he ditched his disguise, maybe? As he was walking out? Yep. So it's this. Do we present this? Yes or no? $1 million question. Confirm or deny. Because we're halfway through the health bar. Bless me with confidence. I don't know at what moment, but it's the coat. Is it the coat? For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Mickens barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Mickens panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. Bloody white coat! You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Yes, we did it.
Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth?
Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now would we? Officer Marshall, tell court what you did. All of it. All right. It seems the time has come. Marshall's confession. Still going, by the way. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Mickens. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas couldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
So the supposed victim was really you?
But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor in the evidence room.
God help!
If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Mickens managed to cut his own hand. My guess, he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Okay, mister. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. When you said it, you mean... Do you have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I had anything to do with it. That incident's not over. This is where the knife comes in, isn't it? But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera.
And the detective's ID card?
I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman was starting to fill out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot, I've noticed. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. I wasn't expecting Officer Mickens. I knocked him out. You pulled a knife on Officer Mickens and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time.
Officer Mickens certainly is one in a million type of person, true. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID.
I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did that dwarf get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me, and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say.
So you knocked Officer Mickens out, and?
And managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Mickens. If someone was in the security room when I came up, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Mickens doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby.
So what you're saying is on that day...
There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. Are you blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor. What about the knife? Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you something? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with.
The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
Even more? I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? Why? Well, we actually do know why since we read the paperwork. But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room.
Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence.
Remember the Joe Dark case? It involved several murders, didn't it?
I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about.
What happened?
I don't know. That's why I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think is real, his real reason is? Save! And I do think that it's gonna be that thing that we were given, right? What else could it possibly be? Back? I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I'd better take another look at the files. Yeah, just in case they'll ask me, what page is it? I'll go through every single page until we hit the correct one again. Joe Dark. So page 2, I would assume. Right. Right. I couldn't just stand by and let you die. Stole the detective's ID. Once the evidence. Since Baxter expecting Officer Mickens, left him out, and I managed to escape. I knew which areas weren't covered by the camera. There wasn't any area. You can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? Potentially? Present? Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. But it's the quenchiest. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard that name. 2 years ago. He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got.
What? A prosecutor?
He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands.
But what's his relation to you?
He was my brother. I guessed it. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the deputy chief of police. Yeah, there he is, under the text box. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. Was it the knife? The chipped knife that we found in the muffler? He was arraigned and incarcerated? Okay. The case was finally closed. At least according to the public records.
What do you mean?
My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me.
Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day the SL9 case would be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Mickens confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happened by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's got to be more than just that.
So, if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one.
Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less.
Do you want me to save again?
Damn, they're giving you less and less words to work with. Objection? That's not a word. I rest my case.
It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana's guilt. Lana is guilty.
Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant
Emma?
Emma.
Your Honor, wait!
Emma!
The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right?
What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian?
Your Honor? Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please.
I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. Ooh, how generous.
I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to Joe Dark killings?
Now that she mentions it, the name of both Sky Sisters were in that file.
But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint.
You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured I examine it scientifically. I'd be sure to find a clue. So, I ran over there and looked at it again.
When? So, did you find something?
No.
Huh?
Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all.
Is that all?
Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student.
It's okay, kid. We've had a testimony from younger clients. And I'm just an attorney.
But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them... Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you.
Me? Oh boy. And the parrot too, and the parrot too. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? Should I save again? I'm sorry. Well, it appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this?
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if we can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Like, nobody was caught on camera leaving it there? I think. That's the only thing I can think of. I object. Objection! This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Don't tell me to point at shit in the cat. I hate this so much. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Is it the camera? The camera is not marked on the map? I don't know. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Well... Very well, Mr. Wright. With all the evidence I have, there's got to be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? Is it... The vase? We haven't brought up the vase yet. Jar, sorry.
Is it the security camera thing? I don't bloody know.
Or this.
I think it might be either this or the tape again. I mean, yeah, he was familiar with how the camera moves, but still. Is it this? I mean, we still have some health left, and I did save. As they say back west, even a blind man can hit with the buckshot. That is, so long as he's facing the general direction. It seems Mr. Wright not sure which direction to face. It's no use. The more evidence there is, the greater the chance for me being wrong. Calm down, Mr. Wright. Try and remember what the evidence room was like on the day of the crime. What is it that bothers me about this blood mark? Please allow me another chance, Your Honor. I'll prove it this time.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Oh, I wasn't docked anything. So it's one of those, huh? The question is, which item can prove something is missing?
It's the tape, right? Has to be? No? Okay.
Fine by me, as long as you're not docking me health. We can be here all evening buying time. Ironic that, considering it's the only time that they let us waste time. Is it the blue badger that's not marked on there? It clearly isn't. Okay. Is it the blue badger? Please. Please tell me it's the right one. What about that piece of plywood? The blue badger, masker of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The blue badger is not there. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime.
Oh, he's bigger than I thought, huh? Well? Well, what?
That's right. So long as the blue badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at the spot of the locker.
What? What? He's right, you know. So that means, just exactly what does this mean?
It means it can't be done.
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker.
Don't look at me, I didn't put it there.
Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically.
Emma?
On that afternoon, Officer Mickens was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room, right?
Mm-hmm.
After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So, that must mean the blood mark was left there before the blue badger was brought in.
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice.
But how?
One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Mickens has cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time.
We gotta find whose the first card was.
Someone bled prior to the struggle down on this tape. It had to have been. It had to have been... Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? We showed them the list of the thing, don't we?
To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Mickens being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in the evidence room.
That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this.
Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident...
That was a very slow redeem there, Twitch. Get your shit together.
When did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented.
Proof that shows when the murder took place. There is only one piece of evidence that can show that.
Now then, will the defense please present the evidence that shows when the first crime took place?
For once, I am 100% sure that it might be this. Right, Chikoruni?
420!
Present! If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer wouldn't have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card wouldn't been required.
An ID card? Oh! The ID card record!
Officer Mickens brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at 4:50. Let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be
4:40 p.m. Ah! Ah! Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done?
Oh right, it's Miles. Miles was the thing. I was thinking it's the first one that we don't have a name for. I never would have figured he had the nerve, boy, but we also know what he was doing there. It's a bait and switch because he was told to grab a screwdriver and thus get the blame. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me.
Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either.
It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Mickens and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood room from the first crime was wiped away. But by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible, but what if you had a truck? Or a van?
That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room.
Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. 77777! Talk about a lucky number.
But wait, that doesn't make sense.
I have a sneaking suspicion I might know whose card it might have been.
How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room?
Since there is no record of this card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. More ads? Oh no, I've just only now noticed. How much did you miss? We've been discussing that somebody must have snuck in the murderer with somebody else who used the card. Actually, originally. Hope you didn't miss much. That's only plausible. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 77777.
Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 777777777.
That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present.
What?
Explain yourself, son. The ID card 7777777 belongs to someone with the rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. You don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity.
Objection!
But that's ridiculous! Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
An official charge filed against an executive... If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted.
An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates.
Objection!
I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself.
Slander, is it? Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes?
No, not you. To her, the defendant sitting over there.
Your own little executive.
Oh, Lana?
Objection!
Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number, and it's not that. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident.
The SL9 incident?
Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana! I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying?
I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor, how many stands do they have? During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did?
Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall.
Why won't you answer him?
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order to form him, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana! Even if it involved forging evidence.
See? That's what I'm talking about.
No. No!
Order! 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 Order!
Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day.
To be continued?
Yay! We made it!
Huzzah!
Oh my god, the app is going bonkers bazonkers. Hold on, everyone. There we go. All fixed up. Yes, I would like to save, please. And that is probably where we are going to call it for today. 2 parts, as usual. So I guess it's a good time to stoppity stop.
February 24th, 3:12 p.m. Hide and call offices.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright, but we'll have to stop until the next week.
Title screen? Yes. But yeah, congrats everybody, we've made it just over halfway through this monstrously big case. How was that, partners? Feel satisfied with where we left off? And yeah, fingers crossed that next week we'll be able to actually wrap it up. It's not gonna be one more stream, I assume it's gonna be 2 more streams, if we'll be going at the same pace as we usually go. And I'm still not entirely sure if there's one more chapter or not, because it's like marked differently in different guides, so I guess we'll see where the wind takes us. Right? Right. But hey, we managed to finish somewhat early today. Actually, starting earlier for once made a difference. So I'm happy about that. So yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. Hope everybody had a good time. And on Saturday, we're going back to Uncharted 4. Hope you're ready for a wacky ride in a Jeep in Madagascar, allegedly. That's where we left off there. And more adventure and more treasure hunting awaits. So yeah, until then, take care of yourselves, enjoy the start of the weekend, hope the rest of the week is also merciful to you. Stay warm and hydrated, and I'll see you then. Goodbye for now.